It's K975, real hip hop and R&B. I am that girl, RoyalTea, Big T, not the little one. And today I got a real special guest in the building. I got North Carolina music legend. Yes, I'm gonna call you legend.
Okay, all right.
DJ
I'll accept
Chuck
that.
T. What's up?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing fantastic. I can't even complain.
Look, I don't make no sense to complain anyway, because you know all they're going to say is, wow, that's crazy.
That's it.
That's crazy.
That's it.
Me too. You know, nobody's really going go out of their way to accommodate any complaints nowadays.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So you just say, I'm good.
Yeah,
Not complaining.
seriously. Plus it could always be worse. People
It could.
hurting out here, man.
Yeah.
As long as you got life in your lungs, and you got a place to stay, and you got something to drive, you good to go.
Come on, speak on it already. That's the energy we need today. That really is, because I'm telling you, times get tough. Okay? It gets tough. So we needed all that. Now, it is a Black Music Month. That is why we got you in the building today. And who knows more about Black music than you, of course?
I mean, I hate to brag, but
Okay.
go
ahead, brag a little bit.
No, seriously, when you get into the culture and you start doing it for the culture, you really, really understand what people before you have done to make this a business that you can call your business, right? And that you can make a living off of. And then you want to sort of reciprocate that and give that to the people who are behind you, so that you can contribute to the future. So Black music in every way, shape, or form, every aspect has shaped not just American culture but world culture. I mean, when you talk about the influence of hip hop, hip hop is global, and hip hop is right at 51 years old. So with our forefathers or ancestors, you don't want to call them that because they're not really that old.
Yeah.
But what our legends and pioneers have done for us, has put us in a great position to be able to not only make money, but also to be able to express ourselves and get our stories out in an environment where we're not judged too much,
Right.
But then on top of that, be able to spread our just overall goals, dreams, aspirations, our trials and tribulations, and put it out there for the world to see. And hip hop is such a global phenomenon right now, because there are a lot of people who are going through what we are going through and who can associate with it. And a lot of people look at it as entertainment, which is fine as well. You can pay us for our stories. We fine with that,
Yeah. Now, before you got here, I actually made a comment. I said, I feel like Black music is really like the roots of music in general. How do you feel about that statement?
I mean, when you look at Black people in general, our roots are in Africa. Africa is literally the motherland, not just for Blacks, but for any and every race, color, creed there is. And Africa is one of the most musical continents that there is. So yeah,
Hands
you know what I'm
down.
saying? I mean, if you just want to take it to just theoretical, logical, historical, I mean, Black music is the birthplace of every other genre of music.
This is true. It is the foundation. It's clearly the foundation. Now, there
Clearly.
are some people who would argue that, and but we got into it and we were talking about even down to like Elvis Presley and just realizing where all of that really came from and who actually got, like the credibility for
Yeah,
it.
he saluted Black artists. Regardless of some of the things that we've heard about him being a racist, and taking from Black music, he actually has saluted Black artists. When you really get down to getting past the myths, man, Elvis saluted a lot of Black music. I mean, you got to think country music, rock music, hip hop, blues, R&B, jazz. All of it came from us.
Yeah.
All of it came from African Americans. All of it came from Africa, if you really want to take it back. So yeah, Black music is the foundation for everything.
For sure. Now, again, we talked a little bit about your career. Again, if anybody knows about Black music, it is 100% you. Some people don't even know. You started out as an artist first.
I did.
You
Yeah, I
were an
started off as
artist.
a
Your
rapper.
name
Yep.
was Priest. and then you went into DJing. So just a little bit, how did you make that transition, or what made you want to make that transition?
Well, I felt like I was one of the Ross on the mic.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't one of those situations where I was a quote unquote failed rapper and then I went into DJing.
Yeah.
I genuinely had a offer on the table with Epic Records at one time.
Man.
Yeah. And this was 99, 2000. But unfortunately, I just got to a point in my career where I felt like, my talents will be better served elsewhere. Just to be completely honest with you, I got tired of lying on records.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. I got tired of lying on records. Most rappers these days, they don't care. They'll talk about things they never did and things they never owned, and they'll just completely exaggerate and fabricate. But I just didn't feel right about that. So I tried my hand at a lot of different things, from producing, running studios, managing artists, and I ended up doing a few local showcases, throwing them myself, because even though I wasn't rapping, I still knew that was something that the hip hop industry in South Carolina at the time needed. Was a lot of showcases, a way for artists to perform and get their music out there. And I ended up being in the radio station so much, paying for ads, that I saw that they had an opening for an ad salesperson. So, they were like, hey, everybody rocks with you. You out there in the streets.
Might as well.
May as well get some money. You spending a lot of money. Now we can pay you.
Yeah.
So I started off in ad sales. And being that y'all know how radio works, whenever an ad salesman brings in an ad, you have to hand it over to the production team, and they cut the commercials. Well, I was bringing in so many ads that production couldn't keep up.
Oh, man.
But because I knew how to record, I knew I had a voice for it, I knew how to read scripts, and just my history from working in the studios and rapping and engineering and producing and things of that nature, I started cutting my own commercials. The GM at the time heard my voice. He was like, who is that? I hear him on so many commercials, but he's not our regular, voice for commercials. And so, that's the sales guy. He cuts his own commercials. So from there, they moved me from sales to production. And then from there, there was an opportunity that came for me to fill in for an on-air personality who had some issues. I filled in for that person. And from there, just snowballed. I started watching the DJs. I fell in love with just how they were able to break records and how they were able to mix records and cut and scratch. And I bought my own little, small turntable set. And man, that's all she wrote. You know what I'm saying? All she wrote. Here we are, over 20 years later, man, and I fell in love with DJing and, everything from mixing, cutting, scratching, doing mixtapes, doing parties. I do it all and have done it all, continue to do it all to this day.
That is an incredible story, because going from that to working with artists like the Baby, Young Dolph, helping them rise in careers, and then doing what you're doing with the Charlotte Hornets, that whole music industry night, you have your own foundation, that is incredible. Now,
thank you.
For artists who are trying to get into this industry, because I feel like the music industry, I know the music industry has changed so much. What is some advice you would give to artists that are trying to come into this industry, or what do you look for in new artists?
Okay, so those are two totally different things. I'll touch on them both, just to sort of sum it up and not keep you forever, because I can really go in on this topic. One thing I tell a lot of artists, when you get into the music business, you have to start looking at yourself as a business. All right, focus on the business. It's okay to do music. It's okay to rap or sing or play instruments or produce as a hobby. That's fine. But when you get into the industry, when you get into the business, it's time for you to start seeing things in black and white. And artists tend to see things in color, which is cool. It keeps you creative. But when you start trying to make money at this thing, you got to look at yourself as a business. So focus on the business.
Okay.
So that's the number one piece of advice I would give artists. Always try to work hard. Most importantly, work smart. But then take your emotions out of the business side of things. All right. Focus on the money. All right, don't let the money consume you, but focus on the money. And then as far as just the things that in my opinion, are important for an artist to have, I would say one would be creativity. Don't try to mimic what's already hot.
Okay.
Don't try to get out here and do what others are already doing. Naturally, we know you can't reinvent the wheel,
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
But always put your own spin on it. Whenever I do my music review show, I always hear artists trying to sound like other artists. There are a million Young Thugs. There are a million Gunners. There are a million T Grizzlies. There's a million The Babies. There's a million Lil Babies. There's a million Travis Scotts. I just hear it over and over and over again. And I always think to myself, like, what would make you think that there's room for you when there's already somebody doing that same exact thing who is super successful doing it? So try to be original in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, that's some really good advice. Let me just say,
Thank
I
you.
feel like we need to charge for this because we
I
give out way
actually
too much
do. I
game.
have a music business class. I charge $300. It's a 3-day class. I teach it once a month in Charlotte. It's called the Foundation of Music. But, free game is always something that I love giving out.
Yeah, it's funny that you said something about the Foundation of Music because that was actually going to be my next question. Just where do you see that going in the next few years, or where do you want it to go?
So it's grown in leaps and bounds since I started teaching the class. It started off as a 1-day course, and I only taught it for maybe 4 or 5 hours. Now it's grown to a 3-day course, and I teach it 6 hours a day. And I'm actually adding in a 4th day now. I've taught it not just here in North Carolina, but also in Tennessee as well.
Wow.
And I'm waiting on, as we speak, I'm waiting on a venue in Georgia to get back with me so that I can teach it in Georgia. But I really am sort of going back and forth with whether or not I want to teach it in an institution like a HBCU or even a community college or PWI, or even in high schools, or if I want to keep it independent so that I can teach it to any and everybody who wants to get that knowledge. In a perfect world, I would do both.
Okay.
Right? In a perfect world, I would do both. I would not just still teach it independently, but then I would go into schools and I would teach maybe a shorter version of it or an amended version of it. But I really want to travel the country and teach the business of music. That's, to me, the next chapter in my life. Look, doing parties, I'll do that forever. I'll DJ any and everywhere. But at the same time, you do have to make room for the people behind you.
Yeah.
A lot of the older DJs, they never elevate, they never upgrade, they never move on to other things, and they sort of, keep the flow of newer DJs who are more in touch with the young people, all right, in the pop culture, from really coming up. So I don't want to be one of those people, because I remember when I first started DJing, the old DJs, they held on to their jobs and their gigs for dear life.
Yeah.
And it's like that in radio as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, move on, elevate, grow, get out the way, let the young people get in there. So teaching the business, to me, is where I really want to be at.
Okay.
At this part of my life.
Your life.
Yeah,
of,
this
of
part
your
of my life.
career, after doing so much. Like I said, you are literally a North Carolina music legend, and I feel so comfortable saying that. Like, reading your rap sheet, we not even finna argue that, all right? So I appreciate you coming in for Black Music Month. Please let them know where they can follow you.
At DJ Chuck T on everything. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. My website is djchuckt.com. If you want to get in contact with me, my email is djchuckt@gmail.com. So any and everything, all things DJ Chuck T. And I suggest that anybody who is hearing this interview, whether you are a regular business owner, you got a car wash, you got a hair salon, or if you're an artist, DJ, producer, radio personality, production assistant, videographer, please make sure you not just you not only trademark your name, but you lock down all of the social media platforms with your name, even if you don't use it. Like, I have a Snapchat that I don't use, but I have at DJ Chuck T. But you want to make sure that all of that stuff is protected so that the scammers can't come through and take it from you. And then next thing you know, people are online saying they paid you thousands of dollars for a service. You're like, wait, hold up. That is not my Twitter. Like that is not my Instagram. But definitely lock down your name, own your name. That is the basis for everything. That's really the basis for building a brand, owning your name.
Okay, I appreciate you. Thank you for giving us so much game. Again, it
Thank you.
is Black Music Month, and that was DJ Chuck T.
Let's get it.